Coast Guard Radio. Coast Guard Radio, this is Rib Shockwave standing by on 2-4.
Rib Shockwave, St. John's Coast Guard Radio. Have you received me? Over.
I receive you loud and clear. Sir, we're leaving Long Pond Harbor and we're inbound for Cartwright Bay today and just wanted to file a plan with you. It was a fantastic feeling casting off, going through the checklist for the last time. It's quite something going that fast over the ocean, especially with smaller vessels around. I mean, you really have to watch so you don't run into something. We're going anywhere from 50 to 80 feet per second. And we're finally in the North Atlantic. Very historic, very picturesque, and all of our spirits are high. And then the fog comes. So in the fog, you don't have too much time to react. We go from, it's great, we've got good visibility, boom, we've got no visibility. Due to the fact the weather was bad, we were delayed. We didn't quite carry the speed that we wanted across the Strait of Belle Isle. And then we found that navigating at night and tired in those close quarters, we had to reduce our speed quite a bit. Well, it was supposed to be really easy. I believe that we intended on being there about 9 or 10 o'clock. And then as it was, I don't think we rolled in till the wee hours of the morning. So we got to make it into this difficult harbor. We get into this difficult harbor. We almost hit the rocks on the way in. We're just inches away. And we fill up with gas and we go have what was called sleep in those days, 4 hours or 3 hours. And we got to get going the next morning because we're late to our destination in Pond Inlet. One of the locals tells us that there's a shortcut through the harbor, which would have saved us maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but it was 10 or 15 minutes, I'm gonna take it. We leave the safety of all of the buoy markers and we go into no man's land. It's very uncharted waters there, the charts aren't accurate, and we just pound the reef. I mean, we don't just hit it a little bit. We hit it with all 3 engines really hard. I just was sick. This is the second day. And here we are, all 3 legs are taken out of commission. Well, fortunately for us, we had the kind-hearted Newfies and Labradorians, as I call them fondly, because we're in a bad situation. We're not in Kansas anymore. This is a strange environment. You know, there's no just hauling it out of the water. There's no way of doing that. So these guys, in their lunch break, came over with a forklift and jury-rigged it and lifted the boat out of the water. Only in Labrador would you ever get this kind of service. Mechanic says half an hour, which means about 2.5.
So you'll be ready to go back out this evening?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just need a couple of 6x6 blocks.
They put rocks in the harbor so they can do this. This is fun up here in Labrador. We had 7 days and 4,200 kilometers to make up, to meet Bear on time. This is like, we're already gonna have to do something that's not been done before, and we have to do it now. The guys have survival suits on and hoods and jackets and goggles and whatnot, but we're going along in the fog and all of a sudden I catch a glint of white water and I pull back on the throttles, and I do something I never do, is I pull back on the throttles, go to neutral, and I go to like full reverse. It's called a crash stop. And there's rocks all around us. And we had just, by luck of the draw, had gotten ourselves into a horseshoe of really dangerous rocks that were in the middle of nowhere. Both the navigator and I we missed it. It's my mistake. We'd have been tossed into the water. If we'd have gone another 2 seconds or 3 seconds, we would have been dead. You know, so we changed policy is what we did. And then I learned to trust the crew a little bit better and to assign tasks, and we just started working a little bit better at it. There were two good parts. One was leaving and putting the throttles down. Always felt really good. And the other one was getting out of the boat at the end of the day. Yeah, it was great to get into Nain. And again, we just locked into just the most fantastic people.
Finally in Nain, one of the last settlements, I believe, in late 1960s. I was reading up on it on Wikipedia last night. Very nice.
We met the guy that was in charge of all of the search and rescue in that area and actually taught survival. And we kind of recounted a few of the stories, and he says, yeah, you're the type of person that we pick up in body bags all the time. And he meant it. We had to make it to Torngate Park, which is in the northern part of Labrador. And that was for a fuel stop. And it was an arranged fuel stop where a boat was going to meet us there.
Got something for us.
I thought maybe we might meet you. If you could tie that on, we'll let him know.
Beautiful day for traveling.
Yeah, lovely day.
We really got our fill of Inuit culture.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
chicken of the tundra, this stuff.
Tundra chicken.
Yeah.
Not on camera. You don't know? Do you know what it's at? For just one night, we will take the Northwest Passage.
Oh.
Do you know that song?
No.
You must.
On the way to Pang, we of course crossed the Arctic Circle and had a little bit of a ceremony party. Cody clowned around with showing off his acrobatics, and we had sandwiches, and everybody high-fived, and it was quite a momentous occasion when we'd finally done it. We'd finally crossed the Arctic Circle.
Food tastes better here on the Arctic Circle. You notice that? That's imported. That's imported from the subarctic. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, Pangerton, now we're starting to get into the north. Now we're really getting a flavor for it. This is Hudson's Bay settlement territory back in the 1700s. Scenery's changed, the people have changed, and yeah, we're now into the Arctic proper. And it's just this very cold fog. And we really don't know at this point how the icebergs are going to display on the radar, whether they're going to be clear. Now we're into floating pack ice. And this is a whole different ballgame, because this is just a big floating minefield, which is graded by the ice charts on how big the icebergs are and how close they are together. Our vessel was our lifeline, so security was very, very important. We saw some teenage kids that were very interested in the boat, and we deputized them. And they stood watch on the boat all night for us. They were there when we left, and they were there when we got back in the morning, and they waited all through the whole process of fueling the boat. And I promised them a ride in the boat when we were done. We suited them all up in all of our team gear, and we went out in the harbor, and boy, I give those kids a ride that they'll never forget.
Everybody ready?
Yep. Kapanig ulit yan eh.
They were hooting and hollering, and they had a great time. One of the elders took me aside from the town and thanked me, and he said those kids will never see anything like that again. And he talked about the high suicide rate within the young Inuit community, and just how much it meant to them and how much it gave them self-worth. And it was a very, very moving experience, which really shaped a lot of the way that I thought about these people. It was important to the elders to see the interaction. The elders were very happy that we took an interest in the young people. They really care about the young people. I was really starting to enjoy the trip, but for reasons that I had never thought that I would, and never left with that kind of intention. I just felt like I was just descending down and immersing myself into what really is Canada.
I'm late for work. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for your help.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You take care.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Handshake.
Thank you.